All right, guys, this is Crazy Kev here, and I'm here with my man Alex Rios. Alex, how we doing, my man?
Good, man. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man, no problem at all. And Alex, man, you got a fight coming up with CFFC. I mean, talk to us a bit more about that matchup here.
Yeah, I'm fighting Tommy Hins. He's 2-1 as a pro, and yeah, I'm real excited to get in there and scrap. It's been a while since I've stepped in the cage, so just excited to show off the hard work I've been putting in the last couple months.
Yeah, now with Tom Hins, I mean, he's got a pretty interesting striking. I mean, he's got some awesome kicks and everything. I mean, talk to us a bit more about how you kind of plan to, stop that game there.
Yeah, I've seen some of his fights. I know he's tough. I know he's got some cool, flashy kicks, and without giving away too much, like I'm definitely going to be playing to my strengths for this fight, and I think that that'll be enough to negate his strengths.
Yeah, now, you're coming into this one, and this is going to be your pro debut, and I mean, you're fighting a guy that already has like a bunch of fights already in the pro scene. I mean, talk us a bit more about your confidence going into this fight. I mean, getting a guy right away, with a bunch of fights.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right? Like a guy who's been there, he's made the walk a couple times. He's used to those 15-minute fights, and but to be honest, that's kind of what I want out of my career. I don't like taking easy fights. I feel more challenged in the gym. I am more motivated to take harder fights, and he's an experienced guy. I know he's tough. He's trained with some of my friends. Like we have like mutual training partners. So I know he's a dog, and that's exactly how I want to start my pro career with a win over a solid tough dude.
Yeah, and that's another thing I was going to say. I mean, you definitely don't take easy fights. I mean, going into that last one at 247 when you won the Emmy belt. I mean, talk us a bit more about what that was kind of like to win that fight, and more about that one.
Yeah, that was an awesome experience. I had my best friend and my dad actually corner me for that. We got to fly out to Pittsburgh. The whole thing was pretty surreal. Yeah, I mean, I worked real hard for that fight, and uh, just trained, and I worked on some mental stuff too. Not to, like, trying not to feed into the narrative of like all these guys' accolades, because they got to fight me too, right? So there is that goes into it. But yeah, it was good. I actually spent the whole month before that fight working takedown defense, and to my opponent's credit, he took me down in the first minute no matter what. So that was kind of funny. Um, but yeah, we were able to get the win and come home not hurt, which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, it's definitely important for sure, and that's definitely awesome to kind of end your Emmy career on a positive note for sure, man. And now, going into this fight camp, I know you mentioned you have some mutual training partners and whatnot. I mean, who's kind of some people that are helping you in the gym be the best version of you for this training camp?
Yeah, absolutely. So some of my training partners are Billy Van Dyke. He's a up and coming fighter too. We're both about the same in terms of amateur experience, and I think he's set to make his pro debut a week after me. So that should definitely be something to tune into. And then I have my coaches Andy Main and Melvis Figueroa are going to be there, both former pro fighters. So they're definitely helping me out a ton. And there's a bunch. I mean, at my gym at Pure MMA, there's also so many people that I have access to, and so many different styles and looks that I mean, every round is pretty much like guaranteed work. So I'm pretty fortunate to be in that environment and be around there. So yeah.
Yeah, and talking about your environment a little bit more. I mean, what's maybe some of the best advice you might have got from some members from the gym?
Uh, Pin down, hands up for sure.
That's a good
That,
one.
um, yeah. Some of the best advice I've gotten. To be honest, when I was looking to make the jump from AMI to pro, I had a lot of guys telling me that I should do it. Because at first I wasn't sure, like maybe I needed more fights, this and that, more time experience. Because I've only been fighting for 2 years now.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, so all those guys were just telling me like, dude, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot if you don't take this chance. And ever since I like fully committed to being a professional fighter, I've really enjoyed the process and who I'm becoming because of that. So I wouldn't say it was like one specific thing, but just the constant encouragement from the people around me really helps a lot.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's important. And now with you, changing into the pro scene, I mean, you mentioned your training and everything like that. I mean, talk to us a bit more about your training schedule. I mean, what's kind of your daily lifestyle, with your training and whatnot?
Yeah, so unfortunately, I was not born into a rich family, so I still have to work a full-time job,
Right.
which is great, by the way. Shout out to my guys over at Physio Pros. But yeah, so I I wake up, depending on what day it is, I'll do a workout real early. Nothing crazy, just just to start the day off the right way. And then whether that's a run or sometimes I go to hot yoga just to work on trying to be a little bit more loose, more flexible. And then I'll go to work literally from 9 to 5. Depending on what my schedule is that day, I'll either teach a private or I'll go nap in the parking lot before I go train. And that's pretty much Monday to Friday. And then yeah, on Saturdays I'm training too. I teach Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and then that's that. It's pretty much my week. I take Sundays off.
There you go. No, I definitely think that's important. And now you mentioned you do a little bit of teaching. I mean, how do you kind of like that?
I like it a lot. It's a lot harder than I thought it was gonna be. You got to really know your stuff, and because there's new martial artists, new people coming into the gym, and they're gonna try what you show them. So uh, I have the benefit of actually getting to test my stuff out in a real fight. So I figure out real quick what works and what doesn't work, at least for me. And yeah, so just it's cool to have that kind of privilege to show these people like this is what works for me and how I interpret the martial art. Um, yeah, so it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I enjoy it. The highs and the lows, So sometimes like it can be really stressful, but overall it's really good.
Yeah. No, I definitely hear you when it comes to that stuff because I'm actually a Taekwondo instructor myself. That's why I want to ask you that stuff. And now you mentioned it could be a little bit stressful. Are you teaching kids and whatnot?
I used to teach kids.
All
I
right.
don't I don't anymore. I'm not a very patient person when it comes to kids. It's really tough for me. Just cuz I don't know. Maybe it's not the right time in my life, but yeah, right now I can't.
I don't think there's a single fighter I've talked to that says they have the patience to teach kids. So I just think it's like the fighters when it comes to like being professional. I think you guys are just so locked into your career. I just think you guys just can't handle it, honestly.
Yeah, I think yeah, like cuz especially at this point like we're all super passionate about it and some of
Right.
those kids don't care. Like they're thinking about playing like Minecraft or Fortnite after. Like they don't care and I'm like, dude, trying to explain to them like how cool an armbar is and they're they don't care. But
Right. Yeah.
but but it's still cool every now and like not all the time, but every now and then like there's one where I'm just like, "Oh man, come on, dude. Like just get with the program."
I definitely hear you when it comes to that stuff. Like I said, I definitely think that makes sense for sure. And you're a beast and whatnot in the cage, but what do you kind of like to do outside the cage when you're not in there training and fighting?
Yeah, so in camp, not a whole lot, I'm gonna be honest. It's all dedicated to the fight. When I'm not in camp, what I like to go for walks a lot. I like to be outside, um, hiking if I can get it in, and I like to read books. I'm a big fan of history, like specifically like the Middle Ages. I think it's just like such a fascinating time in human history that doesn't get talked about enough. And also like being a fighter, I like to kind of like see how these guys used to conduct warfare back in the day and like just try to get as close to that as possible because it's pretty crazy when you think about like riding in a battle on a horse and stuff like and that was just like yeah what you did back then. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm either like walking, hiking, or reading on my days off.
When it comes to reading books, if you were to like recommend a book to somebody based off what you like, what would you maybe recommend to somebody?
A book that I would recommend to somebody. That's a tough one. I'm reading a book right now about Kublai Khan, who
Okay.
was basically like without getting too into it, he was emperor of China, but he's a descendant of Genghis Khan. So basically, how he modernized China, and the reason we know so much about him is through Marco Polo, which I guess people don't like put two and two together, like just how like basically big of a deal it was back then because the Eastern world and the Western world were connected through this one guy just being like, dude, look at all this crazy stuff going on in China. Um, It's a very fascinating read. I'm a bit of a nerd if you can't tell. So
Yeah, that's interesting, man. Like I said, I'll definitely have to kind of look into that stuff. I definitely think that's always interesting to hear what you guys are kind of doing outside of the cage and whatnot. And now another thing I was curious about, and I know you mentioned you're early into your MMA career. You've only been fighting for 2 years. I mean, talk to us a bit more about how you kind of got started with MMA and your first day on the mats.
yeah, okay. So I've only been fighting for 2 years, but I started training jujitsu 7 years ago.
Nice.
Um, my dad got me into it. He used to be a Marine, so he was like kind of a type A guy, like, you know, and he basically like in no small terms, one day was like, son, you're getting older, going out into the world, and someone somewhere is gonna try to fight you one day. It's just part of being a man. And he was like, you should know how to defend yourself. And I think, and he trained jujitsu at the time, so that's how I started. And I just once I got my license, I was there as often as I could be. And somewhere along the way, I was like, I want to compete, so I started competing in jujitsu. And I was like, all right, well, what's the next hardest thing? And then it was taking a super fight in jujitsu. I'm like, okay, but like, what's harder than that? And then I was like, well, taking an MMA fight. But then I had to take a step back and be like, all right, I can't just jump into MMA. So that's when I started training kickboxing about three-ish years ago. And just threw myself into that. And then, yeah, but my first day on the mats, we were learning Delhi Hiva. And I'm not going to lie to you, I was kind of like, when am I ever going to do this in a fight? Like, this makes no sense. But I stuck it out. So, and I'm glad I did.
Definitely awesome that you stuck it out, and it's definitely a pretty cool story for sure, man. And now you mentioned you've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time. I mean, what's maybe some of your favorite submissions you like to train when you're in the gym?
As a tall, lanky guy, I mean, when I like to work all submissions. I think you should be dangerous everywhere, but I'm a tall, lanky guy, so I like my triangles.
Yeah. No, triangle is definitely awesome. No, that's definitely a good one for sure, man. And now another thing about me, like I mentioned earlier in the interview, I've been doing Taekwondo for a little bit. I teach a lot of guys at my gym. What advice would you give to those guys in the gym to keep on coming in every day and to get better and better every class?
Yeah. So what's important for me, even on the days you don't want to go, those are probably the days you need to go, barring injury, sickness, or like some other worldly event. But if you're just feeling down, like, and you're like, oh, like, should I go? You should go. You will always thank yourself after. You should go.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's important. I definitely think that's a good message for sure, man. And speaking of messages, I mean, what's maybe your final message out there for the fans watching this video?
Um, Thank you guys for your support, and I don't think I put on boring fights, so tune in for mine.
Yeah, man, we're definitely going to be tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to be there live August 30th, and it's going to be an awesome fight for sure, man. And I'm definitely looking forward to watching your pro debut, my man.
Awesome. Thank you.